welcome back tennis obsessors to another video where today I'll be doing a review of the new Ezone 98 305 grams 16 by 19 string pattern. Now, I was really excited when they first even mentioned this racket, let alone released it. As a previous user of the Ezone 100 and Ezone 98, I was really curious on what they were going to add in this year's model. In today's footage, I'll be going over my personal experience with the racket, be talking about what they've changed with it, what they've added to the racket, what I felt the racket was giving me, what I feel like it would give you as a player, and also who the racket would be best suited for. So yeah, let's get into it. As a current user of the VCore 98 Tour and a previous user of the regular VCore 98, I want to see whether I wanted more spin or more power from my game. I felt this Ezone was going to be the perfect way to find that out. The Ezone itself is a racket designed for more power, specifically the 100 square inch head size, but with the 98, which is what I was using, I felt it was going to be a bit more controlled and a bit more manoeuvrable, but it was going to sacrifice a bit of power. As we can see in that shot there, personally I found the slice with this Ezone was not great. I think it could be due to that dampened feel of the racket. You can't really feel the ball biting into the string bed that well, and I do think that has affected the slice somewhat. This could be due to the shockless grommets on the side and bottom of the racket, which help protect your wrist, forearm and elbow by absorbing the shock as the ball makes contact with the string bed, and once again making the racket very muted. I personally didn't like it being that muted, as I like to feel the ball when I'm playing with a racket, and I just don't think you can with this. Now, as I mentioned in the intro, the racket was 305 grams. This makes it not too heavy, but also not too light, with the weight of the racket being more in the handle than it was in the head, making it very whippy through the air. The Ezone has that isometric head, which increases the sweet spot by 7%, making it more controlled without losing any of the power. I feel like we need another angle on that tweener. As I mentioned, the racket has a 16 by 19 string pattern. Now this was done to add more spin to the racket, but personally I still felt there just wasn't enough spin in it for me as a heavy topspin player. The Ezone has a wider and thicker top of the frame than the previous models to add to the power whilst keeping it stable, and personally I could feel that added power in this year's model. Personally, I found that the serve with this racket wasn't amazing. I wouldn't say it was necessarily bad, but for me, it just felt like it didn't go through the air how I wanted it. I think it was almost too quick through the air for me. But one big quality of the racket is how good the volleys are. As you saw there, the pickup, with the racket being so stable, I felt like I was able to direct volleys really easily, and I think it did improve my volleys overall. I also want it to be known that I originally strung the racket with Lynx Tour at £53 and also the Vice Cannon at £50. Did both of them as they are both spinny strings, but I still felt that the spin wasn't given to me even though I had those two strings on this racket. This year's model introduced new Minilong technology. Now, long story short, it's a material that is put into this racket to enhance the vibration dampening. This made it more comfortable to play with and also reduced the stiffness rating from 65, which the previous model had, to now being 63. There is also vibration dampening mesh within the grip, making the racket more arm friendly. This reiterates Yonex's decision to make the Ezone an arm friendly and dampened racket. The grommets on this racket are also straight hole grommets, which elongate the string to increase the power and comfort when the sweet spot is not hit. I think that shot there truly reiterates the stability of the racket and also the direction you get with this racket as well. I felt along the whole play test that wherever I was aiming, the ball would often end up going in that direction. In that clip there, you can just see how comfortable I was when I was volleying with this racket, not afraid to come into the net one bit, and I think people should take that into account when deciding whether to either buy or try this racket out for themselves. It makes your volleying life a lot easier. The launch angle with this Ezone was very similar to what you'd get with a Blade V9 16x19. Wasn't particularly high, nor was it particularly low. Now, I don't want it to come across that I'm saying that the Ezone plays similarly to the Blade, because it doesn't. The Blade gives you a lot of feedback when you hit the ball, and this racket didn't. Now, my final verdict. Will I be switching to this racket? No. The racket didn't give me enough spin, but I also think it adds too much power for me, as I'm a player who likes to generate my own power. But I think this racket would be good for people who don't like to generate the power themselves and don't want to sacrifice the stability with a powerful racket. I think if you were a doubles player, you could benefit from trying this racket out, as the racket moves easily through the air but is still stable, which will make volleying easy at the net. You can also get really good direction with your passing shots. Thank you for watching this review. Please let me know in the comments down below whether you would once again like any string recommendations, and I will try and give you what I think could work best in this racket, and I will see you in the next video.